Have you heard of multigrade teaching? It is important from the beginning to establish a common understanding of what multigrade teaching is and what it involves. There are many different viewpoints and understandings of multigrade teaching at present among teachers in PNG schools. Availability of information is limited, so teachers may form their own ideas on what multigrade teaching involves, and they may not be consistent with each other. A multigrade class is made up of students in several, 2 or 3, grade levels with one teacher for an entire school year. This means that students with different grade levels are joined in one classroom, with one teacher. Multigrade schools are those which have classes that combine students of different ages and different abilities in one classroom. Now, this might be a challenge for teachers to teach students who are different when it comes to their age, but this will give them the chance to allow their students develop socially and work collaboratively, even to those older or younger than they are. It is the teacher's responsibility to be aware of on how to maintain respect despite the differences. A multigrade class involves students of different ages and developmental levels with different skills and learning abilities learning together with one teacher. This implies that teachers need to be flexible enough to strike the balance in dealing the students. Yes, the challenge concerns the teacher to stretch his time and efforts in preparing the materials needed for the student's aid. Multigrade should remain as a class for a minimum of 2 years, but often for 3 years. They should have the same classroom teacher for all those years. This will help the teachers know more about their students, for they have to teach them for longer years. Monitoring would be easier, and comfortability would be established, but the challenge of keeping the students be out from boredom is great.
And I am Ninya Jen Hidorio, and we are BEd 3D students. And we have here today Mr. Daryl Baisak, a multi-grade teacher from Lingatong Primary School, Alegria, Cebu. And we are here to ask him some questions related to his field. So here is the first question, sir. So how many years you are teaching multi-grade class?
Actually, I've been teaching multi-grade classes since 2018 when I transferred here in Alegria district, because formerly I was assigned in Asturias district for 4 years, and after 4 years there of teaching, I transferred here in Alegria in my hometown. And right now, I think it's more than 3 years, or almost 3 years, that I'm teaching multi-grade classes of kindergarten, grade 1 and grade 2. So actually, there are 3 classes that I'm handling right now.
How many pupils are there in your multi-grade classes, sir?
So far, this school year 2020 to 2021, I've got 16 pupils. For the kindergarten, I have 2 pupils. For grade 1, I have 6 learners. Grade 2 is 8. So total is 16. But if we're going to compare my previous learners in the previous school year, I had 19 pupils. So right now it got decreased. I don't know because maybe some reasons because I think one of my learners, kindergarten learners, transferred to another school because of the accessibility.
So, how about their age range, sir?
Actually, kindergarten learners age range is from 5 years old because that's the age that is usually be admitted to the kindergarten. 4 years old, they are not allowed to enter kindergarten, but only they have to be in their 5 years old.
So, how many teachers were assigned in your school, sir?
Fortunately, I don't know what to say. Is it fortunate? I am fortunate or not fortunate? But for me, I am very blessed because I am the only teacher in my school. So I am a lone teacher,
Not lonely.
but not lonely. So I am the only teacher in my school, and I supervise everything. I am the custodian of everything. It's hard for me, but this is it. This is the task or the job that I want, and I am going to deal with this wholeheartedly.
And next, sir, is what methods or strategies did you use in teaching multi-grade classes?
Actually, if we compare multi-grade classes with the formal classes like the the monograde class, actually, it is a very big difference because when you teach in a multi-grade class, there are learners that are combined. So meaning to say, in this classroom, there is kindergarten, grade 1, and grade 2. So you have to, what we call segregate, or we have to group them according to their grade level. So I grouped the kindergarten learners, grade 1, and grade 2 learners. So when I start teaching or like introduce my lesson, I have to give first task to the kindergarten learners because kindergarten learners, they are prone to making noise. They love to play and stroll around. So I need to give them tasks or activity that would make them busy. So I have to deal with the grade 1. So some of the lessons are integrated also. So sometimes lesson in grade 1 can also be a lesson to grade 2. But you have to know the level because they are already grade 2. So you have to differentiate your activities, your tasks to be given in a specific lesson.
So next question, sir, is what type of activities do the students prefer to do?
Actually, they like collaborative activities, like group activities, because they love engagement. They love to be with each other. They love to huddle. They love to talk with each other. So I gave more time with the performance activities, being with each other, rather than the paper and pencil text.
So first, what are the supports you have provided to the learners in the community?
When it comes to the support, for me, I go more on the academics because my learners are in primary grades, kindergarten, grade 1, and grade 2. So the first thing that I have to introduce with them is about the sounds of the words, sounds first, because in learning sounds of the letters, they will understand how to start reading and how to formulate their words. So it's very important that you have to assist them and you have to deal with them more patiently because learners they are prone to they tend to forget, so you have to go with them along the way.
Then the next question, sir, is what are the challenges you had experienced in teaching or handling multi-grade classes?
Teaching multi-grade classes for me is a very big challenge because it's not a mono-grade class. So time and then why time? Because there are three classes. So it's for you how to manage the three classes in one specific time or in a given time. So your time should be, what is this? Um, Taking into consideration. And then your patience also. Because sometimes you tend to lose your patience because of the learner's behavior or character. Like they're starting to make noise, and you are teaching here in your grade 1 and 2. So as much as possible, you have to be a good classroom manager. You have to set things. You have to direct every learner for the things that they must do and the things that they must not do during the lesson.
So how about your security, sir, your health? So it is not a challenge for you?
Actually, I have mild asthma, but I don't have a choice to say no to this. So when I knew that I will be assigned in Lingatong Primary School, that's actually very far from the national highway. It's about 25 kilometers from Multigrade town. So I started to come up my mind with different things like what will be the life that I'm going to face. But then again, I took the risk. I have to get this and I have to do this. For my health, I think it's good for me because yeah, you can get a good exercise. Walking every day. I am taking uh, a walk for about an hour in going there to the school, and then another almost an hour in going back to the mother school again. It took me like almost 2 hours a day to walk, rain or shine. Yeah. For me, the most difficult thing is during rainy season because you have things that you're bringing and then you bring and then the pouring rain will disturb you and you have to not make yourself wet.
So how about the school, sir? It has electricity, water supply.
And it's good that Lingatong primary School has power source and that they have electricity when I get there or when I started to teach there. But before, the experience of some teachers who were there, who were assigned there, they didn't have electricity. But good for me because there is already an electricity power source.
So there is a community involvement, sir, in terms of helping the school activities.
Yes. Of course, the parents of the learners, you have to reach them out also because the learners are not only my client, also the parents of the teacher, other of the learners. So you have to accommodate them, and it's a good thing to know that I get to know the culture that they, because the culture that I am living with is totally different from the mine. They have their own ways of life, and they have different ways to do things. So I am adjusting, and I need to realize that it's also interesting to know.
So what do you think, sir, is the factor that leads to the establishment of the school?
Mm, since there are residents there, so maybe they connect with community leaders or the barangay captain to make or to to found or to establish a school that will be accessible for them.
Maybe demographic factor is the number
Yes.
one. It's the top problem.
But when it comes to the accessibility of my learners to the school, actually it's very far. Their houses are situated, I think it's like 2 to 3 kilometers away from the school. So I think there are only 3 of my learners who are living near the school. So most of my learners are living far away from the school, and they have to walk minutes to an hour every day going to the school and in going to their house.
So, lastly, sir, what message or tip you can give to the future teachers if ever you'll be assigned in a remote area and will be handling multi-grade classes?
Okay, to the teachers, to the aspiring teachers out there, you have to love the chosen profession that you will have, and you have to embrace possibilities. You have to bring along with you patience, perseverance, and most of the time hard work, because this profession, the teaching profession, is totally different from the other profession, because this is a calling, it's a vocation. So you need to do this with a heart. You have to strive for yourself, not just for yourself, but also for the benefit of the learners in the community and to the people in general. So that's a very nice thing to know about being a teacher. So at the end of the day, you will be fulfilled and you will be happy that you are called a teacher.
Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your knowledge and expertise in your field, so that we future teachers can have the knowledge also of what we're going to do in the future. So
Yes, you're
thank
welcome,
you.
and it's my pleasure to be one of your chosen multi-grade teachers to share something about my experience or the experience of being a teacher in the multi-grade class. So thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Hello everyone, at this moment I will share to you my realization about the video references that I've chosen. So the first video was entitled, "What is a Multigrade Teaching?" So in this video, it talks about the definition of a multigrade teaching. So according to the video, multigrade teaching greatly affects the education of the children. Multigrade teaching is a process of teaching pupils in different grade level that is combined in one classroom. So what I realized is that multigrade classroom is filled with different kind of pupils. It is a challenge to the teachers on how to make the classroom unified. So the teacher needs to maintain the respect despite of the different ages and grades that he or she handle. Since it is a multi-grade classroom, the teacher needs to balance his or her time to be more flexible to cater the needs of the pupils. So we all know that pupils in a multi-grade classrooms are all different in ages, grade level, beliefs, skills, and learning abilities. So it is important to have a harmonious relationship towards their classmates. It is to develop their social skills that will help them to communicate better. Respecting each other's beliefs is also important for them to avoid misunderstanding. So these attitudes will greatly affect their future. So my next video reference was entitled "Multigrade Classroom in the Philippines." So this video clip talks about what is a multigrade classroom in the Philippines looks like. So what I realized is that multigrade classroom in the Philippines lacks of resources. This means that teacher lack teaching materials, And as the teachers, they need to deal with this problem and find a way to produce teaching materials that will cater the needs of their students. This boosts the imaginative side of them, as well as this will make them more resourceful than usual. This will also be the gateway of improving their skills. So I can tell that the pupils living in the outskirts of town are given a chance to be at school. Despite of the lack of resources and learning materials, they will be able to learn the things they need to that are applicable in their grade level. So pupils need a framework that will prepare them for their future, and the multi-grade classroom or multi-grade setting is giving it to them all at once. Being in a multi-grade classroom doesn't negatively affect their learnings. They are as much as the same as pupils who are learning inside a single graded classroom. So my last video reference was entitled Life of a Multigrade Teacher. So in this video, it is an interview of a teacher in a multigrade classroom in Cebu. He was interviewed about his experience in teaching multigrade classroom. He shares his ways on how to deal with his learners, and also he gives some advice to his fellow teachers. He also shares his hardships while teaching in a multigrade classroom, and also the success that he gained while teaching. So what I realized is that multigrade class is not a big class to handle, rather it is a wide range of grade level. So according to the video, the teacher said that teaching in a multigrade setting is somehow difficult for him because he is the only teacher who are who is managing the school. So it is a big challenge for the teacher to teach in a multi-grade class, since handling different grade level in the classroom is difficult. So the effect to the teacher is that so the effect of this multi-grade classroom to the teacher is that it helps him to become more flexible. So despite of the challenges that the teacher the teacher is doing his best to guide his learners in order for them to reach the academic success that they need. So the effect of this multigrade classroom to the learners is that the learners are combined in a classroom where different grade level, so which means that they are given a chance to share their knowledge and experiences to their fellow learners, despite of the fact that they are different in grade levels. So this is a proof that collaborative learning has a big impact not only in the learner's academic performance but also in their socialization. It shows that the teacher plays the vital role in being a role model and an advisor. It is because teacher is the guy will be the one to guide them to become the better version of themselves. So that's all for my realization. Thank you for watching.